If you were casting a defensive player of the year vote, who would you vote for, Brad?
Yeah, trying to get me just some enemies right out of the gate. I mean, look, TJ is definitely in the conversation. The stats do matter. So once you get up to 19, you get into that like 17-plus sack range. It really it's hard to deny. I think Micah Parsons in the conversation. Obviously, Myles Garrett as well. This is me just dancing around the question. I would say those three are the top three for me, and I think that I wouldn't object to any vote for any of those three players. I personally, I guess I have to stick with the PFF data and all that. Myles Garrett for us is the top edge rusher, so I'll go with Myles Garrett. But honestly, look, TJ does a very specific thing as good as anyone does a specific thing in the NFL, and then Micah has this added value that he can play off-ball linebacker, he can play on the inside, he can do everything. So they're all very different too, but yeah, I'll stick with Myles Garrett.
Well, Brad, I think we can agree that T.J. Watt is one of the best players in the NFL, defensive players in the NFL, but he's not going to be there this coming weekend for the Steelers when they take on Buffalo in Orchard Park. Can this Steelers defense, knowing that Josh Allen has had an up-and-down year, he's had two offensive coordinators, sometimes he looks like, he doesn't know how to throw a football, he gets antsy, and other times he looks like a superhero. Can this Steelers defense without T.J. Watt slow down Josh Allen to potentially win this football game?
I really was going to come on here with a T.J. Watt playing and talk about the possibility of there being a chance, because to me, Spencer Brown, the right tackle for the Bills, is the weak link of that offensive line. He's also a guy specifically that loses to good bend, around the corner. He's a taller guy, he's like 6'8", and he loses to exactly what T.J. Watt does so often. So I was going to say, hey, if we get a 3-stack, forced fumble, maybe tip pass, interception type of game from T.J. Watt, maybe that is the way you pull this thing off. Now that he's not there, it's not only you lose T.J. Watt specifically, but you just lose the gravity of what T.J. Watt brings, to where you don't have to chip on him on, half of dropbacks, which most teams are doing. So now, your second tight end can release and run a route, or James Cook can release and run a route, or if you want to chip Highsmith or keep James Cook in to, dive at Cam Hayward's legs, like it just makes your job so much easier. And the Steelers deserve a ton of credit for, this patchwork linebacker core, this patchwork safety core, moving Patrick Peterson over, all the things they're doing, and still finding ways to limit, offenses the last couple of weeks. But I promise I was going to talk about how it was possible with T.J. Watt. Without T.J. Watt, I just don't see how they pull it off.